great episode of the Moco Center putting on for the youngins over there in Montgomery County down in Maryland. They've been playing some good football, man. And hopefully in the future we expand that to where my neck of the woods, add some and city football to that giant. And hey, hopefully it goes big because hey man, we love putting on for the youth, man. They the future of sports, so sometimes it's better to get on the ground floor and see how people flourish and see where it takes you, man. So yeah, man. Other than that, well, of course, watched a lot of sports between WNBA, baseball. As you can see, yes, I am rocking a Royals jersey. Yes, I'm rocking the Chiefs hat, but I had to get the Chiefs hat to match the Royals jersey. So you got to coordinate. You feel me? So
all your teams in the mix, man. I'm proud of you, bro. My White Sox, 141 losses. Hopefully we can pull a Golden State next year and turn that thing around and win a championship.
Yeah. Your White Sox definitely on the other end of that spectrum. But hey. It's all good, man. I seen the franchises come around, but hey, I saw a White Sox World Series victory before I saw a Royals one, so that count that for something. Yeah. So, big bro, I mean, let's get into it, man. Obviously, like we talked about it last week, WNBA playoffs are heating up. We got one half of the finals already set in stone, man. New York Liberty punched their ticket to the WNBA finals. Give your talks about it, man. Go ahead.
Proud of the Liberty. Very proud of what Bree Ionescu, of course, Stewie and crew were able to do over there. A lot of rich history for the Liberty, man. I think this is their sixth time they've been to the WNBA finals. Never been able to win it, but it looked like they got a chance this year, of course. And just on the other side, the Las Vegas Aces, man, had a heck of a run. Were able to pull off a back-to-back. That's pretty difficult. It's even more difficult to do the three-peat thing. So kind of unfortunate. I think they're gonna break that team up now. It's just everybody want to get paid. You know how it goes in the sports world. Everybody want to do their thing and get paid eventually, but we shall see. But congratulations to the Liberty, and then we got tomorrow night, the Lynx and the Sun facing off to see who's gonna be on the other half of that WNBA finals.
No doubt. I want to start right there. It's definitely shout out to the Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx. They're going down to the final game to determine who's going to be on the other side of the bracket, like you said. And I love seeing stuff like that. Winner take all. Yeah. That ain't nothing better in sports than winner take all. I can't beat it. Absolutely can't beat it. I'm gonna definitely be tuned in for that for sure. Definitely want to give a shout out to the Vegas Aces. Like you said, man, that's such a feat that's hard to do, just to repeat. They were trying to go for the three-peat, and hey, it's not easy. All right, it's not easy. They had their fair shares of downs, and they had their fair shares of ups. It just sometimes it's, hey, torch, gotta pass it. Hey, it just be like that sometimes. It just be like that. Interesting conversation. I want to shout out my man, Coach Drip, Mike T, because me and him had an interesting conversation because these Clarkians, like we like to call them, they forget that there was a bad Caucasian girl before her.
Really, two of them.
Yeah. Well, actually, multiple. If we really getting down into the nitty gritty, like if we took time and made a list of bad white girls that played in WNBA before Caitlin Clark got there, we have a nice size list. But me and him were just having a conversation. I'm like, they Clark fans. They don't know the history. They don't know it because Sabrina Ionescu been that.
Yeah. I got me a little post going viral right now, but just because I was addressing that. I mean, maybe I should have worded it better, but I'm like, the real Caitlin Clark, if you know what I mean. If y'all want to be a frank, she does everything Caitlin Clark does, and in reference to the other one, Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum came in with that same kind of pressure. Number one, I think she's a little bit more the intangibles as far as her attitude and what you expect from Caitlin Clark. But as far as somebody with skills and expectations and got the leadership tangibles as well, man, Bree, she doing her thing, man. I think that she don't get enough attention, because she plays with Breonna Stewart, but she is the original Caitlin Clark, y'all.
Hey, you know what's crazy? If you really want to talk about it, Paige Beckers was actually getting all that love and attention before Caitlin did. So even at the collegiate level, there was a lot of people that were showing love to a lot of other players before Caitlin. And trust, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here trying to bash Caitlin because, and I'm definitely speaking for myself, but I know Tone enough that he'll give Caitlin her flowers when she balls out. Yeah. And that's our job as content creators. We just keep it real. We keep it even on the playing field. We keep it consistent. Like, we'll give Caitlin her flowers when she deserves them. At the same time, we'll give the criticism and critique because that's how we make our content. But the fact of the matter is that, the talk about, Caitlin and Angel and all that stuff is just, it baffles me because I'm like, yo, there's been magnificent players before she even got drafted. There was magnificent players before she started getting the attention on the collegiate level. So, I mean, if we're going to keep it a buck, keep it a Kobe Bean, like, let's have those conversations. And we're not afraid to have them. So, point blank, period. So, final thoughts on that, big dog.
Well, we fans, we not fanboys, Big Bro. So that's where it goes with. Fans actually can appreciate who your favorite player is. You can appreciate the team. You can appreciate the game. You can appreciate the history. Fanboys, they're going to come in. They're going to, my player this, my player that. And that's cute. That's cool. But, don't try to put up a real argument if you're a fanboy. You only know you're a player.
No doubt. And then it also, I think it kind of also, kind of taints your objectivity. It takes away, when you're a fanboy, it takes away literally for you to be objective on certain topics, and you speak on it in a very biased point of view. Just my opinion.
No, yeah, you're right. You're very right. And and back in the days, these people always been around, but now we got the internet. It was good, TABC. I saw your comment before, brother. But we're gonna talk some football. We're gonna talk some football.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna talk it because we'll definitely get there. But I just want to touch on NBA real quick, because this is polarizing. They're already, they're going to talk about it. What are some of your thoughts on some of the teams as preseason kicks off? And what are some of the teams that you think might make that leap forward this year?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't really care for preseasons and all that kind of stuff, but just because you can't really gauge what's going to happen. I mean, not even barring, you got. I'm gonna say it like this: the main guys don't play enough for you to be like, oh, the Lakers are going to do this, the Lakers are going to do that. But as far as who I'm excited to see, I am excited to see year 2 Wemby. See what step forward he takes with Chris Paul over there, of course, and just. What I've been seeing from him, I follow him on his social media. So year 2 Wemby is one thing, and your Lakers, big bro, I'm not gonna hold you. But I seen the LeBron and the Bronny James combo. They finally put it on the court, albeit preseason, and it don't look good, man. It's funny, it's funny, but it didn't look good. I don't know if you caught that game, did you?
I caught pieces of it, but I'm just gonna say this: at the end of the day. Am I expecting them to compete for a championship? Hell no. Yeah. I've said this numerous of times. I think they are competing for a playing tournament spot at best. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the drafting at Bronny at 55, which is the most talked about 55th pick ever in all of NBA history, for obvious reasons. But look, my expectations for the Lakers, they ain't high. They are not high. I'm just gonna, keep an eye on them and see if they can at least be competitive. That's all I'm looking for. I
don't know.
I know. It ain't gonna be easy.
They had a lineup of LeBron James, Bronny James, Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, and Jackson Hayes out there. And when they put that lineup out there, the Lakers had an 11-point lead. So by the time about 3-4 minutes passed, I forget who they was going up against, the Timberwolves maybe. By the time them 3-4 minutes went past, man, the Lakers was down 3.
That lead was gone.
Oh man, that's what we got to look forward to, though.
Hey, one thing they will do, they're gonna get talked about. They're gonna sell some tickets, and that's for sure. They're gonna do that, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But and I've said this numerous times on different platforms. I'm a Lakers fan. I've never been a Bron fan, but the fact of the matter is, a Lakers franchise has always been about chips. They've always been about winning the chips, and right now, they're not in a position to ever compete championship as of right now. So he says, is Paul Gasol better than Chris Bosh? That's a tough question.
That's a good question, but no, I wouldn't take Paul Gasol over Chris Bosh. Just if we could go off Paul Gasol's time in Memphis and Chris Bosh's time in Toronto when they were both the top guys, give me CB, man, because CB was something different. He was 24 and 12 before it was popular. You know what I mean? He was doing that. So
he was a walking double. Hey, easy money. But yeah, man, let's get down to some of the meat and potatoes. Man, crazy weekend in NCAA football. Unfortunately for my team, they got the dog piss kicked out of them. Mizzou Tigers, man, what was y'all doing? I don't know what happened. Y'all did not look like a number 9 team. Y'all went down to Texas A&M and went down to College Station, and them Aggies. Woo, Lord.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out, we was trying to doing a little chopping it up while it was going down, bro. I was like, all right. I thought Mizzou and the Aggies was going to be the only walk down that we see. Man, we got almost 6 walk downs because Miami, they went down. I don't think they won by 1 versus Cal. So it's a weekend of upsets.
Hey, upset city. Matter of fact, with Mizzou, I turned it off at halftime. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not gonna waste my time. Matter of fact, I started running errands.
It's like, no, it's bad. Like, I want to go out. But Mizzou took a beating, but I don't think nothing's gonna cap what Vandy did to Alabama, man.
Man,
talking about they didn't got walked down. I think they was 0-60 versus number 1 teams. All kind of history in this game. I think Alabama had been beating them down the last 24 times. They finally ended that streak too. And I've been singing the praises of Diego Pavia for a while because that kid, he actually pulled off a miracle versus Virginia Tech week 1.
Sure did.
Bringing Vandy back in that game. But what was your walk down of the week outside of your Tigers, bro?
Man, Arkansas clipping up on Tennessee. I know the strategy at the end of the game, Tennessee was like, go ahead, score your touchdown. We got faith in our quarterback. But when you do things like that, you better be 100% sure that your offense, your quarterback, is going to get things done. And he had a brain fart at the wrong time going into that last drive when he didn't even give his receivers a chance to make a play. Like, you just got to throw it down there in the end zone, and he's like literally running out of bounds and didn't give him no chance. So I'm thinking maybe they probably would have rethought that. I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020, but sometimes, man, like I said, if you're not 100% sure that your quarterback and your offense is going to make sure that they give you the lead back in late games, you just don't let nobody just walk in the end zone. I didn't understand that. It's been a weird college football season so far, man. Those who normally dominate, like just to talk about that Vandy and Alabama situation, you're talking about numerous of times that Alabama has literally beat the dog piss out of Vandy on numerous occasions, and just not this Saturday.
Yeah. You know what? I think this 12 team format has given a little bit of I think a lot of these teams, when they heard that, all right, we don't have to win week in, week out, they just kind of took a little bit of their hair down, if you will, took a little breath because, every week before, even with the 4-team playoffs, it was like every week was a playoff game for the big programs anyway. If you would have beat Alabama this time last year, 2 years ago, they would have been breaking news because it would have affected their playoff chances down the line. But now that everybody got a little bit more leeway, I think that. But here's the thing too, though, Georgia. If you're gonna lose, you got to lose to Alabama. You got to lose to Tennessee. You can't go out to no Vandy, bro. Not the little brother in the division. Like,
hey,
in their place.
I agree with you. It's when you see losses like that, and Alabama should be happy this ain't the BCS, because they damn sure would have got knocked hard for losing to a team like Vanderbilt. That'd have been a bad mark on your resume when it comes down to putting you into these championship situations, and you losing to Vanderbilt, which has always been the doorstep of the SEC.
Saban said it. Nick Saban gave him a little motor. I don't know if you've seen that clip with him and Pat McAfee. Like, if you want to win the SEC, I think he said the easiest team to beat in the SEC. Something on those lines was Vanderbilt, and they took that personal, to quote Michael Jordan.
Oh, as they should. They should have took it personal, because you got a retired coach. I get his history with Alabama because he got 7 national championships to back up his talk. But man, if you can't coach or play on the field and affect the game,
yeah, you setting them up.
Oh, that was a huge setup. You gave them the ultimate bulletin board material. You got a Hall of Fame coach say, y'all can't do it. They said, oh, really? And I didn't think that Vanderbilt, I didn't think they were going to win the game. I thought they would make it competitive because I saw them push Missouri to the brink. So I knew that they were going to play tough, play hard, and try to, be very competitive in that game. But I did not see them controlling the game like they did. Like, Alabama had not one point in that game that they had to lead. Not at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not at one point. That was crazy. And then you brought up Miami. Man, Miami's been playing with fire for the last 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. I'm not a Cam Ward believer. Are
really?
You? Yeah, I'm not on the wave.
I think he has the talent. I think he has the arm talent and the skills to be a top, 5 quarterback pick in next year's draft, if that's what he chooses to do. The thing about him is sometimes I think he presses too much. And you've seen not only in this game against Cal, which give Cal their credit, they didn't lay down, but even Virginia Tech, they didn't lay down either. So some of these teams that are quote unquote your underdogs going against Miami, they're not laying down for them. And the thing is when you notice that people ain't just gonna move out the way for you just because you Miami and you got to put your game on. You gotta put your A+ game on. Nobody's scared of y'all. No matter what you say about the U in Miami or it's the resurgence, they're back. They don't care. Cal. When's the last time we've ever cared about Cal football?
Saturday.
Exactly. Before that, the last time anybody cared about Cal was some little flashes of Aaron Rodgers, some Marshawn Lynch, some Deshaun Jackson. But before that, it was the band is on the field. That was the 80s. All right. Yeah. Ain't nobody cared about Cal football besides those little glimmers of great players that's gone through the program, but nobody. So I mean, it's crazy. TABC, he says, which team in the NCAA football is winning the Natty? Ooh,
too early for that talk, TABC. And I'm one of those people that like to have those conversations. But if I had to just throw my pen up in the air, man, it looked like of all of the formidable programs, Texas is the only one. The only one that seems like they dominate. Now we're gonna see what they really do this week with the Red River rivalry. They had a bye week. They got the number 1 spot on the off day. They didn't earn that, but I think the only one really now that I feel safe putting my money on is Texas. When I said Alabama, 72 hours ago. How funny how things change.
I definitely agree with you. It's too early to tell, and the reason why is because, as you see, these lower tier teams that we've seen in the past, they are not playing scared. Yep. They're not. They're playing with house money. So what? That Cal hasn't been talked about in forever. They gave Miami every last ounce of their effort and play. It don't matter if you're Vanderbilt and we ain't beat no number one team ever in our history. They didn't care. They said, "Okay, we gotta strap up just like y'all. We gotta put our shoulder pads and helmets on just like y'all. Let's get it." Nobody's laying down for these teams. I mean, say what you want. I love it because every week we're going to get some competitive football. It's going to be great content, and we're going to get teams that we're going to get another upset like a Vanderbilt over at Alabama before this season's out. We're going to get another big team getting taken down. But I will say this. I'm looking at some of these other teams that are still undefeated. I'm talking about you, Oregon. I'm talking about you, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take an L this week. Well, next week. But hey, this week now, yeah.
Hey, man, some of these teams, you not only are you going to collide with each other in conference play, but eventually there's going to be a team that's going to do the same thing and be like, "Nah, man, we ain't scared of you boys. Let's get it." Hey, I had to put my jock strapping pads on just like you this morning when I woke up.
Then what you don't really want is somebody to have some tape on you on how to defeat you, because now whoever I got to see their schedule, whoever Alabama or let's say like this, the next underdog program, they gonna study this Vanderbilt film, through and through, and be like, look, if we just emulate this, that's all we got to do. We ain't got to play perfect. We just got to do this. Hey, you don't want that tape out on you like that. So,
hey, that tape, especially after a loss, it becomes a blueprint. Yep. That's all it does. And people are going to mimic it. They're going to try to recreate it. And it's going to be up to you as a team to say, okay, well, we ain't going to let this happen again. So you got to readjust. I saw something you posted earlier, bro, and I definitely want you to dig a little bit deep into it and have this conversation. And I gotta get your viewpoint on it. You said Travis Hunter would not be playing both ways if he was in the SEC. I thought it was an interesting take. Obviously, I'm gonna have my thoughts, but I definitely want to hear your where you're coming from on that and your thought process when you hit send on that.
Well, when you're looking at these cats in the SEC, and I'm just gonna name Ryan Williams specifically. You got this kid, 17. Even in that game with the loss, he still was able to pull up some highlight plays. It just made me think, like, could Travis Hunter, could he guard Ryan Williams? And I don't think on his best day, he's sticking with him. And then you look at all the other cats of the SEC. I think you can have a lot of fun in the Big 12 because you face a lot of future, accountants and lawyers. But when it comes down to my lawyer he went to a Big 12 school, so I'm like, all right, that's cool. I feel good. But when you're going against, and it's not no knock on Hunter, I don't say that as some kind of to knock his talent. What he's doing for where he's at is good. But I think Prime knew exactly what he was doing, taking his kids, to this kind of program because Shedeur and Travis Hunter are phenomenal talents, but we can't really gauge that when you going up against, I'm not knocking these Big 12 schools either. It's just when you're not going up against the best of the best week in, week out, like a Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee is, then it's hard to gauge where you are. And then especially if you're trying to say Heisman and future NFL prospects. So that was just my spin on it. It came from the Ryan Williams kid.
Yeah, hey, and shout out to Ryan Williams, guy. Young man is very talented. He is absolutely phenomenal. A fun player to watch. I'm not a fan of Alabama, but I will definitely watch Alabama just to see him perform because he's dynamic. He is absolutely dynamic. But what you take, man, I don't think you're wrong on that. And here's why. Like you said, there's levels to this shit. All right, let's just call a spade a spade. There's levels to this shit. SEC is I don't think that the gap between them and Big Ten, which I think the Big Ten is probably the next best conference after that. Right. There's a gap. It's not overly big, but there is a gap. All right. And definitely there's a huge gap between SEC and Big 12. I mean,
yeah.
we ain't gonna fake the funk round now. Yeah. So
that's NFL and NFL agent. Yeah, I would have made it, but now I'm representing.
hey, because at the end of the day, SEC is so competitive, and as you see some of these teams like Texas A&M getting upset over Missouri, those are two SEC teams going at it. Even Vanderbilt is an SEC team. They may be at the lower tier compared to these other schools, but as you see, they're gonna play ball, and they damn sure Vanderbilt, like you said, even got the win over Virginia Tech early in the season in dramatic fashion. So all these SEC teams are damn sure from top to bottom they're just that different from other conferences.
I don't mean to interrupt you, big bro, but Kentucky, I don't think.
Oh my God!
Colorado can't hold. They can't tie Kentucky shoes. Let them face off. It's going. Coach Prime might be giving one of them angry speeches.
It might get ugly. It might get ugly if Colorado had to mess with Kentucky. I'm with you on that. I mean, that's a tough. Hey, them Kentucky boys, they are dog. They got dogs on them. It's a mentality thing, and I think that mentality that Kentucky has, I can probably say majority of your SEC teams had that same mentality where they just got dogs, just mentally, and that's not even the physical part of it. They mentally they're built different, and I mean that's why that conference has been at the top of the forefront of NCAA for almost the last 20 years. I mean the recruiting is different, the money that they're making is different. I mean the talent pool is different. Why do you see? Oh yeah, the history
with SEC. All of these programs was, in Alabama in the beginning of time was dominant. Georgia was dominant 100 years ago. So, but it's what you say. It's just the mentality when you got that SEC badge on you. You know what I mean? I think I've always likened the SEC since I've been around anyway as like pre-NFL. So it's like you got the SEC badge on you. You eligible for the NFL, even if you ain't make it or you did or however far you went, you made it to a combine. It's like you said, it's that mentality. I'm SEC bound, so you know what I mean.
Hey, and there's no cap in that. Go look at your stats, y'all. Look at your draft pick stats. Year in and year out, the SEC leads with the most draft picks. I mean, there's no coincidence. There's no fluke in that. It's sometimes facts is facts. Talk is talk, and that's just what it is. But when it comes down to the facts, the numbers prove it. Every year when it comes to April and they say on the clock, it's an SEC player walking across that stage more times than not than other conferences. That's not us talking. That's numbers, and numbers don't lie. That's just what it is. But when it comes to the Travis Hunter thing, here's another another caveat I want to add to that. Not only trying to have Travis Hunter guard wide receivers like a Ryan Williams, that's a tough ass to do. Then going up against the dogs on defense.
Yeah.
I don't think there's Travis Hunter is damn near playing every snap, every game.
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask for a young man to do in that type of scene in the SEC, to have that type of stamina, mental stamina at that, to go against elite. We're not talking about just regular players. We're talking about elite players on both sides of the football, week in, week out, for a 12-game schedule. That's a lot to think that's possible to do. I just think that's. I don't want to say that's asinine to think that Travis could do it. I just think it's not realistic. It's just not. It's just not realistic.
It just goes to the difference of the talent, And like I said, I don't mean to knock the Big Ten, but you can play two ways in the Big Ten and take a few snaps off, even if you're on the field. You're gonna just line me up with the third string or the slot guy for a play or two. That's a playoff. But yeah, man, I be seeing a lot of praise. A lot of people talk about Travis Hunter. They got a lot of praise for him. I love the kid too. I think he's probably the hardest working kid, player in college, but. All that video game stuff is cool and dandy when you're on college football 25. When you line up like Cat Williams, when you line up with the real big dogs, big boy,
having a different conversation, having a whole total different conversation for sure. TABC says, who's your early first round NFL pick, man?
Oh. And I know for sure I got my money on that kid, T-Mac, the Arizona wide receiver, 6'5".
He's good.
Man, he easy. Well, in college, he 200 yards, guaranteed. But in the NFL, I think that as long as he stay healthy, that's my surefire. But running back, probably that kid in Boise State.
He's nice.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be definitely in the mix as well. But you got to give me a Quinn Ewers and probably another one, Carson Beck. We'll see them in the NFL. How their talent would translate though is another thing, because Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers, I got my concerns about them.
Nah, I feel you. I mean, there's going to be some guys that's definitely going to go in the first round. But if you're talking about first overall pick, just because it's a quarterback league and everybody's going to, always do their best to try to get up to the top to get their quarterback, because there's going to be some positions, Cleveland, that's going to be looked at about what you're going to do with your quarterback position. And to be honest, Miami, you got to look at quarterback to go first overall. And I know some people don't buy into the Cam Ward hype train, but I would probably go Quinn Ewers 1A and Cam Ward 1B as in potential first overall pick. Quinn Ewers, obviously, I mean, it needs to be said that this is how good he is. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. It was a reason why the only time that Arch Manning got on the field was because he got hurt. There's a reason for that. I mean, not only the talent, but also the fact that, he's got the experience of playing in big time games. That accounts for something. And just Cam Ward, just because he has the overall talent, a little bit more raw than Quinn Ewers, but definitely I would go either one of those two fellas as possible guys that might take the number one overall pick. Carson Beck is in Georgia. He kind of struggled against Kentucky. It took him a minute to get going against Bama. Had a better game against Auburn this past weekend. But there's just some things, certain players, I just think just got overall talent more than Carson Beck. And that's not a knock on him. He's very talented. But if you are one of these franchises who needs to get your quarterback position fixed, I'm having a hard time to get past Quinn Ewers and Cam Ward so far. Shador's going to be in that conversation, but me personally, as much as I love Shador, I can't take him over Cam Ward or Quinn Ewers. And that's not a knock. It's just not. It's my preference. That's all.
Right there with you, bro. And I think Cam Ward, I just need to see a little bit more from him. I feel like I'm a hater sometimes when the kid make a big play, then it's like, all right, maybe, but I just need to see a little bit more from him. Like you said, it's a smaller sample size with him versus a Quinn Ewers or, even Shador in that matter. But
yeah. And trust me, Cam Ward's going to be in that talks for what he's doing in Miami. Now, but wasn't nobody talking about him when he was at Washington State. Let's call it, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's call it a buck. Let's see how for what he was when he was at Washington State. You're like, oh, okay, another Pac-12 quarterback that he can fling the rock. I mean, that's what they do in that conference when it was existing. They throw the pill all over the field, so it looks good to a certain extent. But he's going to get more of his draft stock and hype for what he's going to do in Miami. So far, his stock looking good. He still got to clean up some things, but it'll be based off what he does this year in Miami. As we talk about crazy week in NCAA football, man, week 5 of the NFL kicked off on Thursday with some crazy action. Hey, we said it on the show last Monday. Kirk Cousins gotta show something. Keep them Penix crowd off his butt. Michael Penix. Hey, he threw for 509 and 4 tutties. Oh my!
I'm gonna say this real quick, and I was waiting on anybody, to have a better performance come Sunday than Kirk Cousins. Nothing impressed me more, other than Aaron Rodgers stinking it up. I I gotta call out my dog, man. It's like, come on, man. And everybody calling for Robert Saleh job, but we get to that in just a second. Captain Kirk for president, man, because this dude, he has made a resurgence. I had some concerns about him, but again, Arthur Blank, I respect him as an owner. You know, he seems like the kind of owner that pays his guys, treat his guys well, and then get out the way. Unlike Jerry over there in Cowboy Nation, but Captain Kirk, man, I think he just bought himself at least the entirety of the season with that performance.
No doubt, no doubt. You're starting to see some of that offense starting to get clicking on that offensive side. Kyle Pitts got a little bit in there. He started making a little bit noise. Definitely, Drake London had a big game. He did his thing. And Darnell Mooney, the slot guy, had a huge game. I know he had to drop, but he came up with some good plays. And I'm still waiting for them to incorporate Bijan Robinson in there a little bit more and use him. Like I said, that guy's a Swiss Army knife. You got to use him a little bit more to fully round out that offense. They still got some things they got to work on, but what we saw against Tampa Bay, I think, is a glimpse of what possibly can be with them going forward. Give me your takes on that London game, Jets, Minnesota over there in London. Talk about, like you said, they talking about Robert Saleh's job. What's up with your man AR-12, man, or AR-8 now? He ain't looking.
Yeah. He and I've been singing dude praises, man. I had to play a lot of defense, last season and during this off season, Dubsy, because he went down with the injury, but a lot of people felt like he was washed before the injury. Respectfully, he did have a bad 2022, compared to Aaron Rodgers' standards anyway. Before he left, so I seen some of the writing on the wall. But man, after this performance in London, I'm on the Aaron Rodgers' wash bandwagon. I've gotten a 5-week sample size now, where he had one good performance against the lowly Patriots, but everything else is just kind of like they survived, and to the credit of the Vikings going into their bye week, undefeated, they went in ugly football. Sam Darnold didn't have on his Superman cape this game, but still, game managed enough to keep his squad in there. And the defense was just all over Aaron Rodgers, man. I think they hit him for about 3 or 4 sacks. I don't know what's going on, man. At the end of the day, I had the Jets as my dark horse coming out of the AFC, and I feel like a fool now. I said, if your Chiefs fumble the ball, then I see the Jets, eking in there. I feel a fool right now because of Aaron Rodgers. And everybody in Jet Nation, shout out to Nick and Harry, all those guys. They talk about Robert Saleh, night and day. But it's like, man, Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach. He's marketed as that. He got the job and said that he was going to get the defense together. He has done that. I see it on my fantasy football. The Jets probably the only consistent thing going on for me fantasy football-wise. So I don't know. And I know that's not my squad to speak on it, but I think Robert Saleh doing his part. He holding up his end of the bargain. He bought in Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett to control that offense, and they not holding up their end of the deal. I mean, like I say, I'm on the Aaron Rodgers' wash bandwagon now. Don't talk to me.
Hey, I'm not fully on the bandwagon yet to call him wash. I will say this. It amazes me against, I guess, your lower tier teams. He's played better. But against San Francisco and Minnesota, San Francisco at the time in week 1, you could consider it one of the top tier teams. Maybe not so now after they're 2 and 3 now, but at that point in time, I was looking like, the performance was okay. He had a few throws in there. I'm like, that looks like Aaron Rodgers, but then he had some overthrows and some situations that I thought were terrible. And but against Minnesota, a team that's playing on all cylinders, playing great on both sides of the football. I mean, he looked like a very normal human being that was playing quarterback. He did not look like Aaron Rodgers, who we know. I mean, the 3 interceptions, I don't know what he was reading when he threw it to Van Ginkel. He threw it right to him. 6 on the board for Minnesota. The other interception he threw, he definitely threw it way over Garrett Wilson's head or Alan Lazard's. I can't remember who it was out there, but overshot him. at least by 5 yards, and that was the easiest pick that safety has ever gotten. Oh, thank you for the gift, Aaron Rodgers. That was bad. That was just bad quarterbacking. And then the last interception on the back shoulder throw, which has always been his bread and butter, his placement was just off.
Yeah.
He threw it inside instead of outside. And you're going up against a veteran corner in Gilmore. You got to have great placement when you're going against a veteran cornerback like Gilmore. So if you taking everything that he's done so far 5 weeks in, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has looked pretty damn average. He's looked pretty damn average.
Get the suds, man. And it's my guy, man. I didn't bought that shirt. Aaron Rodgers was like year 3, year 4 when I got that shirt. Nobody believed in him when I first got this paraphernalia. Now this man out here making me look bad, bro. And it's just the placement on the balls. And what I don't like about Aaron Rodgers is he got a little diva in him. He make a mistake, he get to yelling at the offensive line. He doing all of this, crying to the refs, crying to the coaches. It's like, brother, just own up to it, man. I don't want to see that. I don't. You made a bad play. My bad. We move on the next one. You know how it goes.
Take your L's. Hey, there's nothing wrong in life with taking your L's and then just keeping it moving. All right. It happens to all of us. You don't win everything. You're not going to win all the time. But one thing that I'm rocking with you on is when you take that L, be gracious in it, understand and point out your accountability in the L. Mm-hmm. Don't start pointing fingers. And to his credit, he has come out and says, to his standards, he hasn't played well. Okay, that's good. But you can't show up your people. You can't talk about everybody else and their mishaps. And you got your some of your own. Washington, as shout out to Rod Uncensored, my man. His first comment is wild. That's wild, dog. That is absolutely
I love what you
that is absolutely wild. But he brings up Commanders in first. I thought I wouldn't see today, and here we are. Commanders in first. Jayden Daniels is doing his thing. They're clicking on all cylinders. I'm looking forward to this matchup next week because as they're rolling, Baltimore is back on track. And what a game that they had with Cincinnati. So let's talk right there as they have that matchup next week. What are your thoughts on Ravens Redskins as they head into that anticipated matchup next week?
It's always a movie when the Ravens and the Bengals match up, and they lived up to the hype. But I think that I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I think Jayden Daniels is kind of in that same lane as Lamar Jackson. I'm getting RG3 vibes, you know what I mean? Because when RG3 first came into the league, it was a lot of hype. He was balling out of control, doing his thing for the R words and the Washington R words at that time. But at the same time, I'm enjoying. I just want to see a little bit more from the kid because I think the media is doing the hype job thing. I don't want to set him up and be like, oh yeah, there's a reason why he didn't go number one. If everybody felt like that, then he would have went before Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. But there's also a bit of it looks like the Commanders are starting to find their way. Scary Terry, finally got him a quarterback. As far as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I think this might be where the movie stopped for the Commanders because them boys are balling. Lamar looked like, I'm going to say this, 19? They didn't win the MVP, and then last year, 23.
Mm-hmm.
This version of Lamar Jackson looked 5 times better than both of them boys because this dude out here balling. He pushed off that Bengals lineman. Excuse me, I got a play to make, brother. Excuse me. And then I've always been critical of Lamar. I think he's finally got it going on. This might be some cap, but we got to do a little bit of that in sports as well. I got the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. If they continue playing like this, I think Derrick Henry was that missing key on the keychain. They already had a lot of talent, and then I heard rumors as well that they might be, not for sure just yet, be getting Devontae Adams. So it could get scarier real quick out there in Baltimore. But I think the movie, I think the little hype train gonna stop next week for the Commanders.
Hey, no doubt. It's crazy that you say that because I was looking at the way that Lamar has been playing. Obviously, he's always going to get some slack. He's not quarterback enough. I don't care if he's quarterback enough. What I saw him do yesterday, he's one of one. Ain't too many people was doing anything electric that he was doing. And I gotta say this about the Bengals. I know they're terrible right now, and it's not looking too good. I can't put the blame on Burrow. I mean, if you look at his numbers, he's up there near the top with some of the other quarterbacks when it comes to stats wise. So I can't put the blame on him. I don't know what's going on with Cincinnati, but it's not looking too pretty for them. But I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup next week with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders versus the Ravens and Lamar. That's going to be NFL with your flex rules. Let's tighten them up a little bit better because y'all should have flexed Giants and Bengals out in Sunday night game and gave us the Commanders and Ravens. But no, we got to suffer watching the Bengals and Giants in primetime game. What the hell is this shit?
Yeah, like you say, Joe Cool, 5 touchdowns and the interception, man. It's very impressive. I think that defense for the Bengals needs some. I don't know what's going on. It seems like whatever they do on offense, the defense cancels it out. So,
nah, it just they not clicking on all cylinders, and it shows. But it's definitely, I would definitely put more of the blame on the defensive side. Definitely want to talk about Sunday night football, rain delay. It started late. As TABC, he comes and says, "Are the Cowboys overrated?" And then we'll get into that conversation real quick.
The Cowboys are overhyped. I don't know if they overrated year in and year out. It's always a Super Bowl year with them. It's always we gonna do this and we gonna do that. And then the thing about it is the Cowboys never have a bottom of the barrel team, say like the Panthers. They don't never have a team like that, but they can never get past the hump. And we've seen many guys, again, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, all of these brothers came in after Dak Prescott and have, elevated their teams beyond the Cowboys, whatever you think the Cowboys are. So not overrated TABC, but definitely overhyped. And we could put that on the media, because the media talk about the Cowboys like they talk about LeBron. And it's like, all right, now we need to see some substance to back it up. So respect.
Yeah. No, I'm right there 100 with
that
you.
Last night game. I did that last night.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that last night's game. I did have a fam over, so I did miss a lot of it. I will say this: the parts that I did see, Kyle Allen, I think the kid name is, backing up Justin Fields, came in for one play and made like a 19-yard touchdown. And at that point, I feel like they should have just rolled with him. I know Justin Fields had like a bit of a concussion or something like that, but I'm like, man, Russell Wilson, you don't know what's going on. Justin Fields don't seem like they really are sold in on him just yet, But Kyle Allen made one play. And I'm like, hey, Kyle Allen for president, man, put him in.
I'm sold. No. But to answer TABC's question, I'm right there with you. You took literally all the words out of my mouth. I don't think they're rated. You use the perfect word. They're just overhyped. Especially when it comes to, obviously, Jerry Jones is genius. Whether you like the guy or not, he's a genius how to market that team. That's bar none. But the media plays way too much into it. You see all the talking heads that love the Cowboys, they do it. The fan base does it. They fall into the trap of overhyping this team every year. And then lo and behold, we always get the same results. You can't get out of the second round. So, I mean, come on, something got to give. But here's the thing with that last night's game, I just got to be honest. As much as I think Dak isn't the guy, there was some throws in that game. And I'm like, okay. Because, all right, I'll put it to you this way. He looked like complete trash for 3.5 quarters. And he balled out when it mattered. And it looks good. And I give him his credit. I give him his flowers. I'm not the biggest Dak fan in the world. But that's not my issue with a week 5 game that he balled when it mattered. My issue with him is in January. My issue with him is his performance is not consistent when it should be when that stage is bigger than a week 5 game. That's fine that you pulled out a good victory against a tough defense in week 5. But I need you to have that same urgency and feel and play in January when you're going up against the 49ers, when you're going up against now some of the NFC teams looking like the Vikings. Are you going to perform like that when you got Brian Flores coaching up his defense to knock your head off? Are you going to be playing like this in a division game? Are you going to make it to the conference game? Damn, the Super Bowl. We ain't even talking about Super Bowl. No. Are you going to be able to do that first, second, in conference round when it matters? I need that performance, and not just me as a sports fan. I'm pretty sure Cowboys fans are like, yo, I need this performance when it matters. What's your thoughts?
No, I'm 100% with you. You best hope you don't run up against the Falcons like this and have to get into a shootout. Because last time they had to get into a shootout against young Jordan Love and my Packers, Dak Prescott, he showed up to the party late. He was like, "Oh, here go my touchdowns in the garbage time." Nah,
don't be party to the party.
Amen, brother. You know what I mean? But what I've always said about Dak Prescott is that he is a 4th round draft pick. This is what you get from a 4th round quarterback. Nothing disrespectful, but Dak, a 4th round pick is not the Brock Purdy, the what do you call Mr. Irrelevant, but it's not your Caleb Williams neither per se, number 1 pick. It's just a guy right in the middle, more than likely a backup quarterback to another guy, a 1st round or a 2nd round draft pick. And Dak is going to play good in spurts. That's what he did at Mississippi State. He's been very consistent in playing in like these funny, 3, 4, 5 game spurts. And then in the biggest games, he comes up short. So, much as I like Dak, I'm just like, hey, man, he is what it is. If the Cowboys decided, and I think this was your take, I stole it for an episode, but if the Cowboys decided to move off Dak and run with Shador, next year, I think that would have been 100% justified just because he is consistently inconsistent.
Nah, I'm with you. I'm definitely
who's better,
with you.
Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow?
That's tough. That's to answer your question, TABC. Look, I think Burrow is the better pure passer, but there's some things that he absolutely just cannot do that Jalen Hurts can when it comes to the mobility part, and I think there should be no debate on that. Now, if you're talking about which guy I would start my franchise with, I would start my franchise with Jalen Hurts because he can give me that factor when it comes to running the ball, and he's fairly a decent passing quarterback. But that's such a different dynamic, and if I can get the right tools around him, just like Philly has with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, I can do some things with him. Now the Eagles got some problems when it comes to play calling that's kind of hindering him, and that's another topic for another day. But Joe Burrow, I do not like his history when it comes to injuries. He's been in the league now 5 years. So for 4 of those years, 2, he's managed to get the team to a Super Bowl and a conference championship. The other 2, he's been on IR halfway through the season, and I don't see him till the next year. So I cannot trust a guy that cannot give me consistent durability and at your quarterback position, which is the highest paid position, and I can't invest in that type of money knowing that the guy is not gonna be there. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think we kind of gonna have to disagree on this one, because as far as if everybody stays 100% upright, let's not front. Jalen Hurts has had some injuries, albeit he's played through them. Last season, Jalen Hurts would look like night and day from 2022 to 2023.
And that's fair.
But my thing when it comes down to Joe Burrow is that he's a great decision maker. He's not going to oftentimes cost your team the game, which Jalen Hurts has. Jalen Hurts has a little bit of that Dak in his blood. You know what I mean? He will look good. He'd be like, oh yeah, Eagles, go. And then he will sit there and make some of the most, questionable decisions you've ever seen a quarterback make. So respectfully, if they both stay upright, I would like Joe Burrow just because the decision making is there. He makes enough decisions. He makes enough good decisions that he can carry his team to the Super Bowl. Respectfully, Jalen Hurts never carried the Eagles. They always had a good combination between defense and offense. So, I like what you said. Joe Burrow don't stay. I mean, that's another thing. I've gotten Joe Burrow every year. I seem to get him on my fantasy team. And it's like half the time I'm like, well, let me go hit that wire, hit that waiver.
Let me have my insurance plan ready because we in good hands with Allstate over here, dog.
I had to run with Baker Mayfield one time. He was with the Carolina Panthers. I'm like, oh, hey, Joe, can stay up, man. He cannot.
Now I'm with you. Hey, a good question, TABC. But honestly, I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with either way. It depends on how you're going to run your offense, who you got surrounding him. And, a lot of those things for me should factor in those type of decisions because you want to get your quarterback position right, but you also got to make sure that this situation makes sense for them as well. We got about 2 minutes left in the show. The game has already started, but Chiefs Saints, man, what were your thoughts going into the game before it started?
This is going to be a good test for the Saints, see if they can get back on track. Of course, I've said that they've had 4 games so far. 2 games look like the New Orleans Saints. 2 games look like the New Orleans Aints. So I think this is going to be a good game for us to determine whether they're going to be serious or not, whether we should take them serious or not for the remainder of the season. And I don't know if I told you, big bro, but I got my money on your Chiefs to 3-peat. My Aces let me down. We topped it off with the 3-peat chances of the Aces, but I think 15 in red, you can't count them out. You can't count against them. And so, I just want to see if he can get them turnovers down, man. And Travis Kelce, he had a good game last week, and he do it 2 times in a row. Hopefully not, because the dude that I'm going up against in fantasy football, if T. Kelce have a good game, it's over for me. But nonetheless, to see if they can get on track. I always know they got that championship DNA. You can't never count that out as well. So,
no doubt. I'll be real brief. Look. The statement that the Chiefs need to make, offensive wise, it ain't been the defense. It ain't been them. Offense, like you said, Patrick Mahomes, he's got to start looking like Patrick Mahomes because right now he's looking more like Jackson Mahomes right now. So I don't know what's going on with that situation, but he need to tighten up. I'm not worried about Travis Kelce getting into the groove of things. Look, he's a proven commodity in the tight end position. He'll get going when it matters, closer towards the back end of that schedule, and definitely when it comes to playoffs, he'll get it right. And so will Patrick. Hey, look, like you said, that championship DNA always speaks loudly more than current views of a certain team. Now with the Saints, I mean, you hit it right on the head. 2 games, they look like the Saints. Last 2 games, you're looking ain't. Look, I mean, this is kind of what you're going to get with Derek Carr. I'm just being honest. This is what you're going to get with Derek Carr. You're going to get the, ups and downs. You're going to get the Jack on the high moments. And as we speak, I just saw it a second ago. He's already thrown an interception in the first quarter. So there's the ain't part of the Saints. They got to show that they can, hang with the upper echelon teams and stop beating on, teams like the Panthers and the overhyped Cowboys. So, man, hey, we're going to shut it down before we get out of here, man. Tony, man, tell the people where they can find you at, my brother.
Oh, bro, on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my firstborn, the YouTube channel. So make sure y'all swing by there. Drop content daily, go live daily. And make sure you drop a sub here for IOW Wildcard More. Big bro doing good work. I appreciate you, big bro. Episode 2. I liking what we got going on here, man. Make sure y'all sub. Tune in next Monday.
Hey, of course. Again, that's our new time slot every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in with us. Again, IOW Sports Network, Tony the Savant. Please like, share, subscribe to respective YouTube channels. Hey, you want to find me personally, going over to Twitter. That's where I be at most majority of times, but Facebook, Instagram, Wildcard Mar. And until then, man, I am Wildcard Mar, one half of the dynamic duo. That's my guy, Tony the Savant. We signing off, man. Go enjoy some football, baseball. Everything's in full action, man. We'll holler at y'all next Monday. Peace.
It's just different.